Greetings, dear friends. Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you had a lovely, restful weekend and all ready to start a new week. Actually, today is the last letting go guidance session for March. So if you're here with me live, excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. If you're here with me live, say hi. As you know, if you've been watching these sessions that I do every Monday, we're checking in with my letting go guidance system, and we've been working through the cards in sequence and really just feeling into letting go. All it's like peeling an onion so that you can actually really access the truth of you, the core, the beautiful, loving light essence that you are, because that's really what this life is all about. That's what we're here to do. And so, talking about that, the other thing that I like to do is to just feel into the energy that we're working with. And last night was the full moon. I love the full moon. That's all about just pressing pause for a wee moment and looking at, how did I do with my intentions? Do I need to tweak things? Do I need to course correct? Do I need to sit and be still and go within and access the truth of my heart? And it's funny, last night it was completely overcast. So I looked outside at one point and just thought, oh, I'm not going to get to see the moon. And then about an hour later, I was at the kitchen. Kitchen window is the best place for me to see it. And it literally, and I swear it was only for about 1 or 2 minutes, the clouds all parted and I got to see the full moon, and then they all disappeared. So that just helped me acknowledge into, just paying attention to aligning the different aspects of intention setting. And so what I mean by that is, what are you saying about your intentions? What are you doing about your intentions? And are you believing in yourself? This is an important part, because last week we were working on letting go of shame. And then that's a really big one, because now moving into this next part is we're going to look at guilt. The terms guilt and shame are often used interchangeably, but there is quite a difference between the two. And I'll read out the definition out of my guidebook to share with you, to help you go into, are there areas that you feel guilty? So the key difference here to be aware of is shame. Shame is more of the feeling, it's a bigger feeling. It's saying that you're not good enough. When we have shame, it really affects our core self, whereas guilt is thinking you did something wrong. And so then therefore there's a conversation of I wish I had done something different. Both of them, shame and guilt, are they're judgments, they're self-judgments, and they limit accessing the beautiful, brilliant, heart-based energy that you can have access to. So are there situations, are there things that you've done in the past that you are holding on to? And this is an important part, is not to then beat yourself up. This is just about awareness, right? That's what this letting go system is about. Good morning, Marion. How nice to see you here. So we're talking about the full moon, and we were talking about this week's vibe is to let go of guilt. And so the first piece with this letting go system is to just have some awareness, and then have some acceptance around, yes, we all have little pieces about that. But then what can you do? What kind of constructive thing could you do to just say, I did the best I could, or they did the best they could, whatever that is. But let me read this out to you too, to see if this can help you go a wee bit deeper. It's like being a spiritual detective here. So usually the reason most people feel guilty about actions or decisions done in the past is because those actions or decisions are not in alignment with your current morals and values. Our past wrongs can actually give us a clue to what we hold important. By identifying our morals and our values, we start to get a clearer picture as to why we're hurting over what we've done, or what others did to us. Realize that the past is gone and over with. That was then and this is now. However, if it is difficult to release, you could try a redo. When I do that, I mean quotation marks. Write down how you would have done things differently if you could go back and do it again. In doing so, we affirm to ourselves that we not only learn from our past mistake, but that if we had the skills and awareness that we have now, back then, we would have done things differently. Once you've done this, you could burn or shred the paper to acknowledge that you've let it go once and for all. I'm such a big believer. Good morning, Sheena. Nice to see you here. I'm a real big believer, and a lot of my clients and students know this about me, that when there is that kind of sticky energy, you know, where you have that sense of shame or you have that sense of guilt because of something you did or something that you wished was different. One of the things that really helps stop that, and this is part of that whole letting go process, is write it down, because it can take up too much space in your mind. It kind of loops around and around and around and drives you a bit crazy. So when we write it down and just have the awareness, this is us showing up as the tender, loving kindness that we deserve, by just saying, okay, now I've made it or anchored it into the physical, right? You've made it tactile because you've written it down. And then as you burn it or you shred it, you're just being so loving and kind, because you're saying, that was then, this is now. And can I be more gentle, more kind, more compassionate to myself? Because you do deserve it. Awesome. Take a deep breath now. And I'm going to draw one tarot card, and then I'll do 3 angel cards. That's kind of how I like to do these sessions, just to sort of smooth things out. Because doing this kind of work for yourself, it's always coming into the place of saying you matter. Your well-being, your emotional, mental well-being matters. And it's doing these things that is really important. I really love this. I'm smiling because of the card that came up. The card that came up for us today is the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords is very much about, you can see the symbology of this as being the winner, the winning over your thoughts. Swords are like really create some awareness around what's going on in your mind. And the other thing about swords is they're double-edged. So they can be positive thoughts and they can be negative thoughts. So it's really about going into battle with what's the best for you. And so that actually really supports this idea that if there is something heavy or something that kind of loops in your ruminations about, I wish I had done something different, or I wish I had decided something different, try that out and let me know how that goes. And please do always, I'm here for you if you need to have a wee bit more support or guidance or resources on this whole letting go journey. Message me or put in the comments below, because this is important stuff. This is, like I said, this is important stuff of saying, I matter. And you do. Can you feel that in your heart? So now, just feeling into that, I'm just shuffling these Healing with the Angels. This is Doreen Virtue's deck called Healing with the Angels. And we're going to draw 3 cards just to get a wee bit more guidance, a little bit more support on this whole idea that we're working towards in this week of not only acknowledging the full moon aspect and the harvest, that we're going to start moving through letting go of guilt. And this is really beautiful, because the first card is forgiveness. That's such an important part, because that is the thing about guilt, is it's kind of like looking over your shoulder into the past saying, I wish I had more awareness, or I wish I had done something different, or I wish I had more of a skill set to avoid that. Whatever that is, it's okay. It is okay. You are okay. You have always been doing the best you can with what you knew. And so to kind of beat yourself up like a previous version of you who is not now. So see if you can let that go and set intentions to be much more loving and kind and gracious with yourself about recognizing you can do things about, like that what I read out in my book there about the do-over, if you need to do that. But that could be an intention too. And then maybe listening to music, maybe tapping into an awareness of calming and soothing when that kind of guilty patterns start to come up at all. So all that being said, I hope all that makes sense. And like I said, please do let me know if you need any help or guidance. Tomorrow is the last Tuesday of March. Forgetting what month we're in. Tomorrow is my Ask the Tarot free Ask the Tarot session. I'll pop the link in the comments because I'd love to have you there. That's a session where you can come on and I do very quick 1 card or sometimes 3 card readings, and you can come in and ask a specific question for you. So I wish you a beautiful week ahead. Thank you so much for popping in here. Much love.